In the chaotic, unpredictable realm of mixed martial arts, rivalries are forged in fire and fame is written in bruises. But when South African sensation Dricus still knocks du Plessis, the reigning UFC middleweight champion, sent a direct and ominous warning to Khamzat Chimaev, the MMA world didn't just pause, it braced for war. This wasn't some throwaway call-out during a post-fight interview. This was deliberate, calculated, personal, and perhaps most importantly, it was strategic. With a smirk betraying his intensity, du Plessis didn't mince words. I'm not here to talk. If Khamzat wants war, I'll give him one. I'll break him. The arena hushed, social media detonated, and suddenly, a fight that was only whispered about in online forums roared to the center of the MMA universe. This is not your average hype piece. This is a breakdown of how we got here, why it matters, and what could come next. A heavyweight-level chess match between two middleweight titans. Before the threat, before the stare-downs, before the tension, there were just two rising fighters on separate trajectories. Du Plessis, the methodical wrecking ball from Pretoria, and Chimaev, the Chechen-Swedish juggernaut who decimated everything in his path like a hurricane on amphetamines. Their paths seemed destined to collide. Both men have steamrolled top contenders. Both possess crossover appeal. And both come with immense national pride that adds layers of meaning to every punch, every takedown, and every word. But more than anything, it was du Plessis' unlikely rise to UFC gold, culminating in his brutal war against Sean Strickland at UFC 297, that flipped the entire division on its head. Chimaev, whom many believed was next in line for a title shot, watched from the sidelines as the South African upstart became king. Chimaev's ego couldn't take it, said one former UFC fighter. He believes he's already the champion in waiting. Du Plessis holding that belt? It's like a red flag to a bull. Khamzat Chimaev is the personification of chaos. His fights are car crashes, violent, fast, and almost surreal. He smashed onto the UFC scene in 2020, winning 2 fights in 10 days and absorbing just one significant strike. His dominance was so thorough that Dana White called him the most special talent I've ever seen. Chimaev's style is suffocating. He blitzes opponents with wrestling pressure, ragdolls them against the cage, and rains down elbows until submission, or unconsciousness, follows. But he's not just a wrestler. His striking, while sometimes wild, is punishing and unrelenting. And the confidence? Off the charts. Dricus du Plessis, by contrast, is grit personified. He doesn't win with flair, he wins with force. His style is awkward yet effective, blending grinding pressure, explosive kicks, and sneaky submission skills. Du Plessis takes punishment and keeps moving forward. Against Robert Whittaker, he shocked the world with a second-round stoppage. Against Strickland, he went 5 rounds in a war of attrition. You don't beat du Plessis unless you stop him completely, said UFC analyst Daniel Cormier. And nobody's done that yet. When du Plessis issued his warning to Chimaev, it wasn't shouted in a fit of rage. It was calm, controlled, menacing. I see through him, du Plessis told reporters in Johannesburg. He's a bully, but bullies break. I don't. The message was clear. Come get the belt, if you dare. But it wasn't just the words that made the MMA world take notice. It was the timing. Just days before UFC President Dana White was expected to finalize matchups for the end-of-year card, du Plessis made his power play. He knew what he was doing. He was forcing the UFC's hand. Would they give Chimaev the shot he's demanded for nearly 2 years? Or would they make him wait behind contenders like Israel Adesanya, who's been quietly angling for a trilogy fight? And perhaps more importantly, would Chimaev even accept the challenge? On Instagram, he posted a cryptic video. A snarling wolf, a black and white photo of himself drenched in sweat, and a caption, "You say you'll break me? I'll eat you alive. Don't run." The MMA community exploded. Was the fight being booked? Was this real? But the true response came during an impromptu appearance on a Chechen podcast. I respect du Plessis, Chimaev said. He's strong. He's champion now. But when I come, I take everything. I take his belt. I take his soul. Those words set the tone. No more respect. No more waiting. This was a declaration of war. Du Plessis versus Chimaev is a marketer's dream. Europe versus Africa, Orthodox Christianity versus Islam, a calculated tactician versus an uncontrollable storm. But therein lies the dilemma. Chimaev's most recent fight, a narrow decision win over former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman at middleweight, was dominant early but faded late. His cardio issues became glaring. Critics argued he didn't earn a title shot. Meanwhile, Du Plessis was in talks to fight Israel Adesanya, a long-anticipated grudge match between the brash Nigerian Kiwi and the unapologetically nationalist South African. Which sells more? Which is more dangerous? Which must happen? According to Dana White, the fans will tell us what to do. Well, the fans are already screaming. Chimaev is aggressive, wild, and powerful. He can hurt you with unorthodox angles, and once he smells blood, he swarms. But Du Plessis has better fundamentals. His kicks are sharp, his hands are cleaner, and he doesn't waste energy. Chimaev's wrestling is elite. He controls where the fight goes. Du Plessis has solid takedown defense, but has never fought a grappler as ferocious as Chimaev. Du Plessis proved against Strickland that he can go 5 rounds in hell. Chimaev? Not so much. Against Usman, his gas tank evaporated in the third. Both men can finish fights. Chimaev's early blitzing is terrifying. Du Plessis doesn't look like a knockout artist, but is broken man with body shots and attrition. Du Plessis has shown heart, chin, and stamina. Chimaev has barely been hit, except against Gilbert Burns, where he looked human. Conclusion: Chimaev is a force of nature, but Du Plessis is a fortress. And the question becomes, can the storm break the castle, or will it exhaust itself against stone? Du Plessis has never been shy about embracing his identity. He proudly represents South Africa. He made headlines by stating he was the real African champion, because he actually trains and lives in Africa. That sparked outrage from fighters like Israel Adesanya and Kamaru Usman, who questioned Du Plessis' comments as racially charged. Now, facing Chimaev, who flies both the Chechen and UAE flags, this rivalry takes on even more cultural heat. And while the UFC would never officially promote ethnic or religious undertones, they know the storylines are there, and they know they sell. This fight wouldn't just be about technique. It wouldn't even be just about gold. It would be a battle of ideologies. And that's what makes it so combustible. If this fight is to happen in 2025, the UFC has 3 potential landing spots. The UFC's return to Vegas' most futuristic venue. Perfect for a global super fight. Du Plessis says is healthy. Chimaev claims is ready. Chimaev's spiritual home turf. The crowd would be firmly in his favor. UFC has wanted a massive title fight here for years. A dream card. Possibly too far away. But Dana has hinted it's in the works. If so, this could headline the most important card in African MMA history. But no matter when it happens, one thing is now clear. This fight is inevitable. It's about dominance, legacy, bragging rights across continents. If Du Plessis wins, he cements himself as a generational champion, a man who slayed the dragon everyone else feared. He becomes not just the face of African MMA, but the undisputed king of the middleweight division. If Chimaev wins, he fulfills years of promise. He takes the belt he believes was always his. He becomes the new boogeyman of 185, and he reclaims the spotlight that's drifted to fighters like Islam Makhachev, Sean O'Malley, and John Jones. Both men are undefeated at middleweight. Both have charisma, swagger, and legions of fans. But their careers need this fight. For Chimaev, it's a chance to prove is not just hype. To show that the cardio concerns, the inactivity, the weight issues, all of it was noise. And that when it matters most, he's the baddest man on the planet. For Du Plessis, it's the fight that lets him step out of the shadow of Adesanya, Whitaker, and Strickland, and into his own legend. A win over Chimaev ends the debate. A win over Chimaev shuts everyone up. As of now, the contract isn't signed. The press tour hasn't begun. The octagon hasn't been set. But the battle lines are drawn. And it all began with a single, shocking threat. I'll break him. Whether it was mind games or manifest destiny, Dricus Du Plessis has made the first move. Now, all eyes turn to Khamzat Chimaev. Will he answer the call? Will he bring the storm? Or will he find, for the first time in his career, that there are some mountains even boars can't climb? Only one thing is certain. The world will be watching.